Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Quantum Racer, Neil, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So we've also got Eli and Arwin as well. So, my bad. Welcome one and all.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Can I say one thing before you start housekeeping? It'll be quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
Before I got on the show and I used to just listen, I used to look forward to when QE came on. Now it's like I never hear him come on anymore. And I'm just wondering if there's people like me that are out there that are waiting to hear from him but don't, particularly on this show. Just throwing it out there.
No obligation. Same goes for anybody on the panel. I'm not going to say, where the hell have you been? It's like, what?
No, I know, but I used to, like certain characters, like I used to be like, well, where's this guy today? Why didn't he show up today? When you're a fan and you're listening, it's different. I'm telling you.
It's called evolution. We know when shows have offshoots, you know, and then it is what it is. People grow. Obviously, if the fans want to support QE, they can go to his channel.
Doesn't have anything to do with that. Number one, character. I'm no damn character. Number two, evolution. What the hell is that? Number three, I just been on the late train for about 6 months. I'm trying to break out of it now. That is going to bed late and waking up late. Like after the after show is over, I'd wake up. So I'm trying to break out of that right now.
Contraire. When you went off, when I was an avid listener and used to wait for that after show and have it marked and an alarm set off to put it on, you were a character to me. A good character, not a bad character.
We're all characters to the audience, because obviously, unless they know us personally, we're just a character on a show on YouTube. Educational though it may be, we're just characters on an educational broadcast about the nature of reality.
So back
Some
to
are
the
a bit cartoons, though.
There again, Owen?
Some are more cartoonish, though.
Maybe I should have said personalities.
Same thing. Character, personality, same thing.
We get back to the experts.
If you want to. In the pre-show, we were discussing expertise levels, which I have for a couple of days because I've been going back and forth with the chap who wants me on his show. And after he requested suggestions for who I should be debating, or to put it as his phraseology was something like, who would make it exciting for you? Who would you love to debate? And I was like, an expert. So we'll see how he gets on.
And the first choice was who?
Conspiracy Cats was his first choice, and I laid out a load of objections which were dutifully ignored by him. Coincidentally, the same objections raised by Tommy, unsolicited guest who joined a couple of days ago, to say the exact same things just by pure coincidence. Happy days, because I trimmed it out and sent it to him. Again, it got absolutely no reaction whatsoever. And the more sweary and angry I get with him, the more telling his replies came back. So, yesterday came back with a reply, in quotes, "I have not addressed any of your so-called concerns," end quote. That's literally what he said to me. Just brilliant. Anyway.
Conspiracy Cats was in my chat today too, being all complainy about how you cowered it down. He thought he really had something. So Conspiracy Cats is trying to get some public attention or something.
Yeah,
Really?
certainly.
Why does he still have a channel?
I don't know. It's a good question.
How does he still have a channel? And how does this guy... Wait a second. Who is this guy?
I don't know his name. Sorry. Can't tell you for you to go away and research him. Anybody know his name?
Meow, he's
No.
a cat.
He claims to be a teacher. He
I
claims
saw a
to be
Puddy
a
Cat
teacher.
too. Hold on. I'm just going to shout out a couple of super chats. Sorry. Just gain a bit of control. They're both from the same person. So shout out to Unitox Femu, who says, open casting for experts 14 to 15 UK apply. I don't really know what 14 to 15 PM means. That's a bit of a misnomer there, but I think I know what you mean. 2 till 3. Right on. Also, Unitox Femi, thank you very much again for the super chat. At best, you have only debunked Radius. Yeah, a bit of a paraphrasing, but yes, indeed, Unitox. Femi, at best you debunked the Radius, right? Yeah. That's right. Anti-flat earthers know we're at. We're in the argument.
That sounds like an expert.
On the
Okay, so
contrary.
who's the podcast guy? What's his name? You don't know?
Of course I know. It's Pat Brittenden is his name.
Pat Brittenden. Can I speak to Pat Brittenden right now?
I think you probably could if you tried. Why do you want to speak to him?
Pat Brittenden. An expert was asked for. You provided Conspiracy Cats. Are you aware, sir, that amongst the thousands of train wrecks that comes out of this dumpster fire's mouth, he once said, the second law of thermodynamics only applies to energy, not matter. Now, let me try to break this down for you. I don't know if I can. He would fail junior high intro to physics with that statement. Okay? So when we say expert, we mean an actual expert on the topic. Not some numpty dipshit that's got friggin' idiot problems and diarrhea of the mouth. Are you following me, Pat? Okay? That's all I got for you.
Okay, I didn't quite.
Contact me. We can have a little discussion. Okay?
Oh, isn't this
Right
sweet?
now, you're a numpty dipshit.
Check it out. QE's white knight for me, like Ranty's white knight for Conspiracy Cats. Isn't that sweet?
Fucking clown. Just go to the numpty clips. You're gonna find Conspiracy Cats in there. So you want us to debate a numpty dipshit?
Yeah, he does. He wants me to debate a numpty dipshit because I think he's taken to him, you know. Obviously, when you haven't got a winning argument, you've just got to have your charm and win over the host, right? Me, I'm totally ruthless and I couldn't give a fuck about this Pat guy. And I'll tell him he's a lying cunt when he lies. So when he consistently tells whoever he's telling that I've declined to debate Cats and I cut out a quote that says, I will debate him, yeah? That's a lie that he keeps wanting to spin out. So hence he's getting the sharp end of my tongue at the moment, is Pat. And I don't know if he researched me. I've claimed outrageous on my part that he hasn't researched me, because if he had, he'd know what he was in for.
Wait, what?
Oh,
I
nothing.
spent 5 minutes today on my show telling Conspiracy Cats to actually get in the Discord server and how to do it to get on the show if he wants to debate you, right? Just do it.
Yeah,
But
any
he
of
wouldn't
these long,
even address that.
exactly, any of these long-serving dicks, self-appointed experts in a faith that 7 billion others apparently have. In other words, a very, very small fish in a very, 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 very big pond. That's what Cats is. Now, don't get me wrong, popularity levels on YouTube could be compared here, and I could definitely lose on that grounds. However, the pond I'm in is tiny, and I'm a big fish in that pond. Now, it doesn't matter which way you dice it, I can't grant or get expert status in Flat Earth. That is not acquirable. But there's literally people churn through universities year in, year out that have accreditation that's directly linked to this subject. So it shouldn't be difficult in that massive pond. Shouldn't really need a big worm on your hook to get a quote-unquote expert, as opposed to one that just says, I'm an expert because I believe everything that everyone else believes and I talk about it on YouTube.
Hey, that's just one comment amongst many. He came on this show one time back in the day, you know, right in the beginning, and tried to define mass, and he couldn't do it. And then he tried to make a hypothesis, but he didn't know what one was. So, I mean, this has layers upon layers and layers. I just gave you the how would you say, the feature with the second law of thermodynamics. And if you heard what I said, Pat, you listening? That is probably one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard. If he would walk into a junior high intro to physics class and say the second law of thermodynamics only applies to energy and not matter, he would get laughed out of that class, and they would call security and escort him off campus. That's how bad that is. You understanding me, Pat?
I thought you were going to give him a ring or something, sort out his number, because obviously I'm not going to pass it on. But by the same token, you meant address him as an audience member, whether or not he's listening or not. I see.
Well, can't you send this to Pat? Pull this out and send it to Pat.
I probably won't. I've already trimmed out the discussion between me and Tommy, and I'm not saying, you know, you're any less worthy than Tommy, but I'm just saying I don't want to bombard this guy, and the fact that we're talking about him doesn't, you know, you want to talk to him. Well, obviously, if you take time out of your day to do that, that's fine. Me, I'm not necessarily going to trim this out for him to bombard him with video clips. You know, all I wanted to do was show, look, I've got a point, a problem, an issue with this person you've lined up. I'm happy to debate him if you can overcome these issues. Now, he's ignored all of them. Now, meanwhile, while I'm saying this, I'm giving him a conditional acceptance to debate cats. And what I'm seeing when I search for rebuttals to actual flat earth proof that we've recently presented in the form of the sexton, I come across things like Ranty's video talking about me being scared of cats. Now, I'm not a Ranty fan, but I don't watch his stuff. But I can see what he's put in the thumbnail, and it really makes me smile while I'm giving Pat an earful via email for him constantly implying that I'm declining when I can literally quote myself saying I accept, I will attend, and things of that nature. Just these dicks, when they get challenged to actually go to their massive pond, throw their line out with a worm on the end and get an expert pulled out on the end of their rod, right? They go, no, it's much easier to tell my audience that you declined. No, I haven't declined. Everything I've said has been about accepting and doing it, and I've talked to my audience about doing it, and mentioned you by name about me going on your show because you've asked me. But that's me declining. He keeps literally, in quotes, putting, this means you've declined. It's just like, what? You interpret it that way? Man, you're really encouraging me to know that you're going to be an unbiased host when you interpret things that say something completely different as words you've decided they mean, because it's easier for you. Yeah, you sound like a really fair host. You know what I mean? This is all in email prior to me ever talking to him. Right, he's ignored half a dozen points I've put to him, some of which 7 times. And yet he's telling me all about how fair his show is. It's like, what? Are you having me on?
So he contacted you by email. You checked your email?
Why, today? Nah.
No, I'm saying he contacted you by email.
He did.
Now, how'd you find out?
I think I was awaiting a PayPal payment, so I went in there to look for it and found it. Yes, I am terrible at communications. That said, I've dedicated a significant amount of time to communicating back and forth with this Pat guy. You know, I've gone back and forth with him and spent, 20 minutes comprising an email to then send to him. You know, admittedly, at first, when I first woke up and saw his outrageous lies that I was declining something I'd already given a conditional acceptance for, I was like, I just launched into him like half awake with loads of misspellings and grammar. And I was like, look, if you're going to take me saying I will do something as to mean I'm declining, I'll just take this excerpt and a random piece of text to mean you sleep with the dead. Because I can just take it to mean that, can't I? And he's like, why all the aggression? I'm like, because you're just making up crap I haven't said. So I'm just going to take what you've said, put it out of context, and take it to mean that you're a necrophiliac.
Yep. Makes just about as much sense, just about as arbitrary. So you got his email address. Can you please drop that email address in my message thread?
No.
I'd appreciate that.
No, I won't.
You won't?
No.
Why not?
Dig it out yourself, man.
Right. He has got enough to contend with me. I assure you, he doesn't need any more shit. Right? He has got.
Share the damn show with him.
No. Don't start giving him grief. And I will say this because as much as he has also put points to me, which I'd love to address, and in some cases I can't. One of the points he put to me was people are contacting me from, fans of your show and giving me grief. Well, if you are that person emailing Pat, please don't. He's a public figure, I'm a public figure. It's nice that we can discuss these things. It makes for a great show. And, should he actually get a bloody expert sorted out in the massive pond he's got to fish in, then we might actually see a proper debate. And I'll give the guy credit where it seems due. He does seem to be reasonably organised in terms of what he wants to achieve with the structure of the format. And I've got no issue with that, and I haven't raised any issues with him in that regard either. So from that point of view, it's like, yeah, you seem like you might actually do a good job, with the exception of your bias. Telling me that I'm seeking unreasonable concessions when I say R's been debunked. For cats, personally. Is he going to be using this debunked R value in his arguments? Because if so, that's a problem. In other words, I'm not going to just pick up, not where we left off from, but from shit that I've got to rehash because Katz has decided that his arguments only work if he uses stuff that we've debunked. Well, I'm not going to tolerate that for an hour. It's a waste of my time. And I've put that problem, that issue, that concern to him, whilst also saying, obviously, I'll attend and debate Katz once these issues have been addressed. And the response I get back is, so you're declining. it's hence him getting an earful from me. But that's to round out why I'm not going to give you his email address. Believe me, and to the same to people who are giving him grief via email who don't know him, have never met him, have never conversed with him, and just happen to be a fan of my show, please don't. Yeah? No need. I assure you, he is getting 100% of the grief level I can provide him, based on the things that he said that are inaccurate and spin that he wants to put on things I've said. He doesn't get any airs and graces from me. He just gets the same exact grief that anybody who came on the show would get. Yeah? Now, people seem to be under the misapprehension that I'm not like this in real life. I am. I wear my heart on my sleeves. This is how I am. Now, that doesn't mean that suddenly when I'm in an email conversation with somebody and somebody makes up some shit that I haven't said, I won't jump down their throat in a heartbeat. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're the most famous person on the world with 20 billion people watching you. If you start making up crap about me, I don't care. I've met plenty of famous people, and it doesn't impress me one bit. It did at first, but after a time, it doesn't matter who you're the king of. Yeah, you're still just a person. So you think your expertise level is going to be the thing that I focus on? Yeah, you're damn right it is. As opposed to your fame level, or how nice you are. Yeah, none of those things matter. Just the arguments, and in terms of the arguments and the debate structure, wonderful, so long as the points actually get made, and when there's past experience with people who we all know and love, like cats, we know that they can have the same point repeated to them, and they can chew up an hour and a half, not answering one question that's put to them over and over and over again. That doesn't help anybody. But these aren't experts. That's why they can do that. That's why they can challenge us on our claim Earth turns underneath stuff when we don't make that claim. Because we debunk that claim that the globe makes. So they stand in opposition of the globe if they're anti-flat earthers. If needs be, they'll put an opposite rhetoric. Because they've dug it out from some rock, from somebody else who's come across this problem and come up with some bullshit doublespeak overcome that actually flies in the face of the original claim. For example, 2 reference frames, Earth turning beneath a football, versus why would you, the flat earther, think Earth turns beneath a football? I don't. It's your claim. But it's suddenly repositioned by these dicks, these no-name, non-expert, part of a billion other people. They're repositioned to be our arguments, like flat earthers are going to claim Earth turns into footballs. Because we debunk that claim, it suddenly becomes ours. Yeah, it does if we were in a debate with an anti-flat earther. We don't want to debate anti-flat earthers. There's an open door here for anti-flat earthers. I want an expert. In other words, offer me something I can't get daily on my own bloody show. That would be an expert. And that requires you to do some work. Now, you can just turn around and go, oh, well, I've got cats and he seems pretty cool. Yeah, well, wonderful. Seemed to me while you were telling me I was an expert that you wanted somebody who was a flat earth expert. Subsequent to that, this dude's telling me about how I've got other people lined up. Well, fair enough. Unless it's Sergeant Debate Jaren, I don't care. Because they're not going to be at the expertise level as I am. Simple. Now, you can claim that you are, but I'll feel free. I'm pretty high in terms of stature. There's one person on the panel that could challenge me in that regard here, right now. That's it. So, that's what you've got to do if you're a host who wants to actually entice me away from my quote-unquote echo chamber, where there's an open door to anti-flat earthers. They can all come in and tell me how I don't understand, and I deal with it all day long. However, everyone who's watching, including my own panel, are saying the same thing. I'd love to hear the Black Swan argument put to an expert. I wonder how an expert would react to this absolute annihilation of the R value. Well, if you're Pat Brittenden, apparently that's seeking an unreasonable concession. An unrealistic concession, I correct myself. Unrealistic to concede that you can't measure R? Au contraire. That's where we win, but apparently it's an unrealistic concession I'm seeking, if you're a biased host. Oh, I'm done, by the way.
Whatever happened to that expert that QE he debated him, but then like the call dropped? Was it like a month or two ago? You ever hear back from that guy?
The call dropped. There's no call that dropped. He dropped. Nothing.
Right, but then he just disappeared. We kind of see what happens when experts debate you guys, We see it. We already know.
So did you say his last name was Brittenden? How you spell that?
I'd have to look it up. Sorry. I can't tell you off the top of my head how to spell Brittenden, which is how it's said, I think. I kept calling him Pat Britton yesterday, so I'm probably not the best person to ask.
I typed it in. I can't get anything. So, all right, fair enough. I'll let it go.
Fair enough. I've not researched him either. I mean, I get loads of emails from people that say they're popular, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. When they actually get into the nitty-gritty of detailing what they're going to do, I'm like, great, this sounds good. I think the only thing I said to him initially, other than I'm in, is let me know who you get. For reasons that we've now covered in the last 20 minutes. Yeah, you want to know who you're going to be lined up against, so you don't end up lined up against a, what did you call him? Numpty dipshit?
Yep.
Yeah, not an expert. Anyway, we'll see how that pans out. I'll let you guys know. I've also, just to round this out in terms of Pat, so we're not talking about him for the entire show, I've also said, look, I'll bury this hatchet as long as I get an apology for the lies he wants to conjure. And I'll talk to him, I'll talk to him like a man rather than swearing at him and calling him a liar, which he is when he tries to spin out that I'm not interested or have declined. But I'm sure, given that he claims to have 20 years' experience, he'll have the intonation or the humility to say, okay, fine, yeah, I'll stop saying you're declining just because you don't like my opponent for the reasons I haven't addressed. So hopefully, unless there's any questions on this, which may or may not come to fruition, we shall see. Is there any questions on this? If not, we'll move on.
Let's move on.
Perfect. Typically, when Father of a Stolen Child is here, although it wasn't him that did it yesterday, I think it was 10th Man, we've been rattling through the housekeeping questions at slightly higher pace than usual, Quantum Eraser. And I'm hoping that you'll experience this firsthand now if everyone on my panel or people in Discord play along. Let's see how we get on. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
You would need R for that.
That's correct. You'd need a radian value for rotation. Moving on. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere-edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Again, you would need R for that as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh,
Go on, whoever in Discord.
only optical.
Did you say only optical?
Yeah, only apparent.
It's to be
Only
physical.
that one.
Yeah, indeed, but we've covered it because they need an R value for their tangent point geometric horizon, don't they? No R, no Earth curve. Moving on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
That would be
Once
nice.
again.
No.
You would need R for that as well.
You'd need R for a molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical
centre.
Earth, would you?
The center of a what? Of a sphere? You would
Presupposed
need a
spherical
radius,
Earth.
right? Yes, right there. Spherical.
Yeah, that one's the most obvious, to be fair. Now we get into the slightly more complicated ones. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Which one?
Who's taking it?
We
Ah,
have theoretic
would need R.
evidence.
hold
You would
on,
need R
just-
for that as well.
You do. Centre of M1 or centre of M2. You're going to need R for that, aren't you? This is fun, eh, John?
I object to that one.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, because that's Newtonian. I don't want to. I'm saying Newtonian because everyone knows it as that, but it's not. It's Reverend John Michel, C.V. Boys, and Cavendish. So, but
Well,
that's not what that's not gravity in secular society. See, we're dealing with a right-wing numpty faction that makes shit up on their own. Follow?
I do,
So,
but we do, and we must see Newtonian gravity as a force. It doesn't really mean it is one, but we don't have to work at the really is level, John.
yeah, I remember that.
yeah, well, they say Newtonian gravity works 99% of the time, right? We use Einsteinian gravity for the exceptions when
Really?
something's
Citation,
traveling
please.
almost the speed of light and things like that.
Yeah, citation, please. You can continue. He doesn't have it, and he'll never find it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not my claim.
I don't think he's proposing it as his claim. I think he's just postulating what the opponents would say based on his tone
What
alone.
they say. So you want me to go off what numpty dipshits just say after 5.5 years? I don't think so.
Okay, this one's a
You
bit
make
more
it-
obvious and hopefully swift. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
From which year?
Don't they use
Really?
R for that?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
How they do that?
Distance to the sun is utilising the R value that they get from Earth transposed onto Venus with Kepler's third law applied.
Oh, you're using that old numpty dipshit stuff. I thought you're gonna. I'm thinking about radar bounces.
Also, AU needs R.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to look into that.
So now we're into the
But
ones
you
that are
only-
arguably... Go on, whoever that was.
You only debunked that.
Yeah, the distance to the sun has been debunked.
But why we need R in every fucking argument?
Maybe not. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Can I go back to his last statement?
His last statement was, you can debunk everything with R in essence.
Well, no, he says, why do we need R? Well, because the presupposition is always, as we've said here, every argument they make is begging the question that you live on a sphere with an R value. No matter what they say, they need R. It needs to be real.
No, yeah, but I don't know. No matter what they say, I don't know about that. I mean,
Well,
they
if
could
it-
say a bunch of stuff.
Well, they can say something that is connected to an argument that has no bearing because it's so many steps away from the
Right.
foundation of R.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they need the foundation of R.
Well, that's why you can't answer the next question. You'll need R for that. You know, when I say any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics, while those might be the fields, you can't just say in response to that, you're going to need R for that. Well, no, you don't need R to be an astrophysicist, but to make any claims as an astrophysicist, the chances are you're going to be making them with R.
Yeah, but they could still come up with a hypothesis, though, so that one wouldn't apply.
No, indeed. I mean, we're asking for a viable... I completely agree, because we're asking for a viable hypothesis from that field. Well, yeah, the viable hypothesis, if it's got R in it, will say you'll need an R value for that, but until that happens, you know, it's preemptive. You can't really say you need R for that in response to that question.
But I would say that field, its fundamental position is based on planets with R. And they say we have R as well. So everything they do will eventually lead back to everything needing an R.
It could.
Quick shout out to Retro Bill, who says the gyroscope used on a military aircraft is called a high planes drifter.
Too funny.
Shout out to Retro Bill for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Last but by no means least. Go on. Say again, Neil.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the only one that caught that, since I had a little snicker about it.
No, people on the Eastwood side caught it as well.
Yeah, the Eastwood side. Yeah.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon.
That one doesn't need R either.
Atmosphere?
Not the way you said it.
No, I'm asking to show gas pressure without a container. So,
exactly.
Again, unless they move to, obviously, their first assumption, which will be atmosphere, sphere-shaped air next to a vacuum, until they do that, it's preemptive to say any evidence of gas pressure without a container, and then you're going to need R for that can't be the reply. You're right. But that's why I left it till last. The two that you can't cover with that are any viable hypothesis and gas pressure without a container.
Yep.
The rest of them you can.
My first question too, because
go on, John.
The gravity one still stands.
Say that again. Which stands?
The gravity one with Newtonian, but I'll relent.
Yeah, we're covering the deluge, right? We're covering the numpties, the anti-flat earthers, the globers. We're covering it all. It's all lumped in.
Yeah, and they still think that... Who's interrupting me?
I'm trying to say something. Go on.
Most of them still think that Newtonian mechanics, right, is still alive. So I guess, yeah, we're begging the question. Yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, some of these has just gone back and forth. You realize it may not be the first answer they give, but then when you say, please show me how you can have gas pressure without container, and as they go through it, they're going to eventually go to the atmosphere. That's when you bring up, well, you need R for that.
Yes. Yeah, but you just, for those two last questions, for every other question, doesn't matter if it's molten iron core, gravity, distance to the CERN, axial rotation, Earth curve, doesn't matter which one of those questions get asked. You can respond, you're going to need R for that. Now, the questions that you can't say, you're going to need R for that in response to are any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics, because they could provide a viable hypothesis. Nothing to do with R at that stage. Now, yes, you can then go on to say the chances are, if they're making any claims in the heliocentric worldview, they're going to need R. But you're preempting anything that they've done at that point, so it's not a reasonable response. Same goes for gas pressure without a container. You're asking to show gas pressing without pressing. Nothing to do with R at that stage until they assume atmosphere. Then it is.
But the hypothesis coming from astrophysicists whose fundamental belief is that there are spheres with radiuses in our universe, and there's outer space, and distances are measured from the center of these planets to other planets and celestial objects. it's all based on R anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indirectly.
Yeah, it's the next step.
Not directly, though. That's the next step. Exactly.
Yeah. It's one or two layers aware, but it's there.
Exactly. Certainly with any viable hypothesis, we thrashed it out for half a week and came to the conclusion that you can't just take that to the answer you're going to need R. You have to have something come back from them, and inevitably, probably, most likely, the very first thing they come back with will assume R. But until they do, you can't say you need R for that.
Yes, standalone hypothesis can mean hypothesis for anything.
Well, no.
But when they
No.
link it, but I mean standalone, meaning it could be something else someone observed, like why does that leaf fall? But when why not?
No, not with cosmology, astrophysics, and astronomy. No.
Exactly.
No, I didn't say.
Away, though. You're still good. It's just one step away.
Right, that's what I just said, though. If you say the word hypothesis only works for those fields, that's wrong, because you can have hypothesis about why the leaf is falling down.
Yeah. Non sequitur.
Yeah, but we need a hypothesis in the field, so it's never going to happen. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you are right, 10th, but we're specifically asking for a hypothesis from those fields because they're the fields of heliocentrism.
Yeah.
Well, then that's my point. When you ask it from the field of astrophysics, well, hang on. When you ask it from the field of astrophysics, you're going to need R then. It's my whole point because
no, you won't. No, you won't. I can come up with a subject from one of those fields that doesn't have to deal with R.
No helping them.
Go ahead.
No helping them.
No helping them. Yeah, I won't.
If you do, don't everybody now try and get QE to do that, because all we will ever get is that as the response. That's what we'll get.
I'm not, but both of you just tied that question to that field.
Yes, we know.
Morning, guys.
Yes,
I'm
we
with
know.
10th man.
Yeah, you're going to need...
So when you tie...
10th, just to satisfy you, you could say you're going to need R for any response to that question. That's about as far as you can push it as you push me under pressure. That's pretty good, isn't it? You're going to need R for any response to that question. There you go. Not true.
But isn't the whole thing built on a freaking ball? Everything with heliocentrism?
QE and Nathan just told me that when I said the word hypothesis stand alone, you don't have to attribute R to. I got chided for that because your response was in that field, it has to do with astrophysics, the universe, da. And I say, yeah, that's my point. If it's in that field, we already know what it's based on, R. So you can't say it about them.
You want to get? I wouldn't die on this hill.
I wouldn't either. There's no need.
I'm not trying to die on the hill.
Don't, because you will.
Getting to R quickly is a bit of fun. That's all it was.
Toys R Us.
Right, QE, I've been asked twice or three times by Sleeping Warrior. I don't know what this means, but I'll ask you anyway. Nathan Oakley, 1980, says, Sleeping Warrior, can you clarify, ? QE has been missing because he's become a baller and run away? ?
Agreed.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that sounds consistent.
Chocolate, where the heck you been, man?
What's up, guys? Morning, guys. What's going on?
You got yourself a woman.
3.
What?
The transgender Muslim, why would he be looking for a woman?
That identifies as a helicopter.
You identify as a helicopter.
Right, shout out to Retro Bill. It says, when Sniper's correct for Coriolis, it's called a Magnum Force.
He's on the Clint Eastwood thing, man.
Go ahead, Punk.
Go ahead, make my day.
just a fraction quicker than me.
Well, actually,
I missed Punk.
He'd have the ball over a barrel with that one.
Somebody called Oort Cloud wants to debate you, apparently. If he's not in the panel or he's not been muted. If someone can let me... Can anybody see him? While that's being looked for, Oort Cloud will make a gap for you if you let me know in this live stream chat. If there's not one already. How many people are in there? Yeah, we're over by 2 people, so there's definitely no gap if you're not in the panel already. Quick shout out to Bible Literalist, now known as Level Up. So one of my subscribers, or no, members, said specifically to shout out Paula as her new name Level Up, because they may not, your audience that is, may not be aware that that is the case. So you can probably see her scrolling by right now with her wrench. Level Up. That's Paula, formerly known as Bible Literalist. Subscribe today.
She is ace.
Paula is ace. Ain't no doubt. Okay, did we figure out, is there an Oort Cloud in the house?
Is this orc like in the Hobbit movies?
The Oort Cloud is, correct me if I'm wrong, surrounding the solar system in the heliocentric rhetoric. You're testing my heliocentric knowledge now with your screen name, Oort Cloud. So it's beyond the Kuiper belt. The last section of the claim to be... Who's making that noise? Bet it's Neil.
No, it's me. I was going to say, the Kuiper belt, you're going to need R for that.
Yeah. You just ruined this whole thing. Yes, thank you very much. The giant circly Oort Cloud, right? That's right. But that's the last bit, isn't it? That's the last bit of the solar system from memory. This is, as I say, testing my former heliocentric knowledge, a lot of which I've sort of blanked out because it's useless.
Where's that located at?
Say again?
Where's that located at?
The edge of the solar system.
Beat me to it, damn it.
It's like the last layer. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about this. Like I say, it's going back a while since I looked at this stuff. But the Oort Cloud
where is it at again?
out in space.
Yeah, space. The vacuum? Really?
Yeah, it's out in the sky vacuum, right? A very thin layer.
But
A homogeneous layer called the Oort Cloud out in space. What's your problem?
do I even have to speak to this?
I would prefer you did, because I've just thrown it out there and me addressing it is not much fun.
There is no vacuum of space. You can't have stuff in Narnia, man. Sorry.
Afternoon, guys.
Hello, Adam. Oh, this was great. Today, Anthony was giving me a comparison with, he was talking about the begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator and gravity. And during the gravity discussion, he was describing how, well, gravity is a force in pseudo-Ramonian force space, right? You can describe it as such. Even though it's defined as not being one, you can think of it as one. And he gave all the sort of baller justifications for getting around thinking of gravity as a force in pseudo-force space. And then he said, well, you know, unicorns in unicorn land eat grain. And that is a fact. You can't disprove that, right? That is actually true. Unicorns in unicorn land do eat grain. And I was like, Anthony, why don't you just use the Narnia example? It's much better because there's a time element in there. It's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, the kids go through the wardrobe and they experience their life, and at the end of the story, they're like king and queen or something, you know, they're ruling Narnia alongside the lion. And then they are informed that they've found the wardrobe 60 years later after coming through it, and they all go, oh, should we go and have a look? And when they go back through it, they're all kids again. All of those years that elapsed have suddenly faded into non-existence. There's a time dilation, a bit like a wormhole. So I'm pointing this out to Anthony. It's like, did they? And I was like, yeah. that's what happens when you go through the wardrobe. That does happen in Narnia. And I'm like, this is a much better comparison because it parallels it much better, right? It's like, you going to argue with me about the time dilation as you go through the wardrobe? I mean, how unreasonable are you? That does happen in Narnia. But yeah, but Narnia's not real. How is that paralleling it? Yeah, because space isn't real, and space-time isn't real, and gravity isn't real. It directly parallels it. You know, you can think of going through the wardrobe as being a way of going back in time or reducing your age. You know, you can think of it in that way. Of course, Narnia isn't real, and likewise, you can think of gravity as a force, even though it's not a force, in pseudo-force space, which isn't real either. So it's directly comparable.
That make George Musa Mr. Timbus?
Mr. What's his Timbus? He's the guy with the goat legs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
What's that?
Get stuffed!
Yeah. You saw my super chat then?
No, I didn't. I didn't see
Didn't read
What,
it
does that
out.
not get a
I'm sorry,
shout
Adam.
out?
So QE got a super chat. Well, I got the money. QE got the sentiment, which is to say that your sound wasn't clipping. So even when you shouted "get stuff," then you didn't overload your mic. You didn't overload my lines. You certainly didn't overload my compressors. Happy days.
Yeah, I had some problems with that, but we don't have to go into shop talk. But I moved back away from the mic when I did that.
Good.
So, we were all having lessons off Nathan last night. I learned a fair bit, and it sounds like you did, John, and all then. If you backed off there.
It's all about discipline.
I listened back, right? So QE and I last night made a recording, and I was giving them a crash course in sound. And at the end of it, QE and I were like fiddling around, fine-tuning some of the settings and recording it so he could hear back the effect after compression on YouTube. But he sent it me, so woke up this morning, going to my Skype. There it is, linked to the recording that we made. So I went and listened to it, and when I'm like, can you just say something at a certain level? QE's first thing he said was something, words to the effect of, yeah, we're doing a sound check because I'm getting loads of complaints, actually 0, it's just Nathan that says it sounds bad.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed listening to that. I listened to it a couple times, by the way. It was pretty funny.
I thought it was quite funny. Don't publish it. It's funny for you and I.
won't. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, do whatever you like. It's your video. I mean, obviously, don't take my demands too seriously. But by the same token,
Yeah, I'll premiere it later.
that's what you said in the video. I'll be premiering this later. But no. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Hopefully, the audience is very tolerant, actually, on YouTube. Typically speaking, there's only a couple of things that you can do to shy them away on sound levels, which is if people are drastically different in volume, that will get people to tune out. Or if people are just clipping constantly, then that will get them to tune out. It's just because you can't listen to it. It's nasty on your ears. It's distortion. But I hope the next Ballbusters will be considerably better in terms of the audio performance.
You know, my whole sound system crashed yesterday after our little embarking on fixing everything. Do you know that?
No, that's okay. I can remember the settings because in the video, if you remember, I actually detailed verbally every setting. Do you remember me doing that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's only my mic setting. Remember the software that was connected to the mic? That piece of crap software. I updated it, and it didn't update. It didn't show up anywhere, and then it didn't show my mic being attached. So in the end, I finally just got rid of it.
Fair enough. Yeah, Blue Snowball.
I
It's got
fixed everything. That's good.
digital gain control for the Blue Snowball. Just nasty. Anyway, enough shop talk. So yeah, sound will be better on QE's show. I'm still tweaking mine, but hopefully the Flat Earth debate has improved as I've made all of the changes in the system after treating the room. So I treated the room, then made all the changes. That's just occurred. So in the last couple of weeks, maybe the last week, hopefully, not that anybody will notice this or care. As I say, mostly YouTube audiences are very tolerant of bad sound. But I want it to be better. I want to up the game of the show, and if nobody notices, that doesn't bother me, you know. But I want it to be better.
Can I do one last bit of shop?
Go on.
That's just to pimp my new channel again.
Yeah, that's not shop. Go ahead. Plug it all day.
Thank you. Yeah, so put it out, and I'm quite pleased with the response. I'm still desperate for subscribers. I've only got something like 146, which is quite cool. So from the second episode, I've gained another 40 odd subscribers, which is 40% growth. But But yeah, if people would pimp that, share it, I'd love to try and get those subscribers up. So
to get those prescriptions up. You said prescribers.
I'm still in work mode, mate. It's been
I know.
Prescribers, yeah. Stop it. But yeah, it'd be great, and I'm really chuffed. I've had 400 odd views off of that. So.
The one I shared, the one I did a community post on.
Is that the one? Yeah. But so it's on Curvature, the rise and fall, which I hope people will watch. It's not. Actually, I like what banter. I've never seen this guy before, but I've pinned his comment. A better description than my ego would have allowed me. But for those new to the subject, this video is a very comprehensive introduction. For those who have been in the argument for a while, this is an excellent reminder of what the mainstream science community actually claims. Because most of it is ignored or actively rebutted by the anti-fighters on YouTube. Important for figuring out just who are the science deniers in this debate. Thanks for that summary, Banter, but that kind of sums it up, and that's kind of what I was hoping to achieve in the video, is to actually lay down what they claim, what we've demonstrated, and to see who are the science deniers. Ordinary claims.
Hey, Adam.
Yes, sir.
On your show, do you prescribe the red pill and blue pill, or just one?
It's a choice.
Oh, I got a shameless plug.
You can, but just not yet. So, Adam, are you a mod in Nathan Oakley 1980 channel?
Yeah, I'll stick it in now.
Spam it, man. Spam it. So, just to reiterate, Adam's about to, in a few minutes, while I buy him a bit of time, go and get a link to the ups and downs of curvature, or curvature, the ups and downs, which is on What is the World YouTube channel. I hope he's changed the name to something.
Not yet. Do you want me to do it?
Yes,
Capital
please.
W, H-A-T, in lowercase, question mark. Then in uppercase is the. Then in lowercase W, uppercase O, lowercase R-L-D. What is the world?
And as I've said before, I think it's a fantastic and catchy and easy to remember name that will definitely go over well when you type it into YouTube searches.
You do type it like that, you see. It does guarantee you finding me on channel, because
but that's definitely something. So get your pen and your pocket organizer, type it in. Please change the name. I want you to be more popular. And
do it this afternoon.
Just change it to What is the World? Okay. What space is space the space world space?
Space question mark?
No.
Or no question mark?
No. Because then world becomes world question mark, doesn't it?
And the question mark's not on the world.
I'd capitalise each of the letters if you want it to look pretty. That's being overly fussy.
That in the after show.
You want a good title that's easy to remember and type in, and What is the World is a good name. There's nothing wrong with the name. That's excellent. In fact, it's really easy to remember. I can really easily remember your new channel name without issue.
I'll tell you what the world is. The world is a joke, because I'm not going to be able to do anything in another month unless I got proof of vaccination. So the world is sucks.
Don't forget my shameless plug, man.
Okay, go ahead, QE.
Before we go down that road.
Well, before you go down that road, shout out to Retro Bill, who says, to achieve success when hanging balls, oh God, in a shed, remember to hang 'em high. Right, go ahead, QE.
Thanks for having concern, QE.
Yeah, we're not in the slightest bit concerned. I'm really sorry, Neil. Go ahead, QE.
Yeah, shameless plug. We got a signature numpty clip, a massive one, coming Monday. So make sure you all tune in. It's one of our favorites. Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, a.k.a. the photosynthetic redneck, a.k.a. no marble science. It's classic. He'll never recover. You're finished. Clown.
Oh, the big
at
dummy.
You should call him by his right name.
The
All
big
of a sudden,
dummy.
Nathan calls him Blue Marble Science.
You talk about the big dummy who says, "Hey, you big dummy, Earth isn't Earth isn't rotating underneath hot air balloons. You big dummy."
Hold on.
Oh, that's not the stupid
hold on. Have you not published it yet?
No.
Oh, okay, I was going to get the link to it. So I'll just stick a random link in the chat. So it'll be Sean Hawkins and Prof Bell and water vapor is not a gas.
Didn't Fred G. Sanford call his son that? You big dummy?
Yeah.
Was Sanford and son?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
You big dummy.
It's one of my sound effects. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nathan, you big
so
dummy.
subscribe.
What's wrong with you?
We're still in the middle of a plug. Nearly there. I promise. So check it out. Be here or be sphere for Quantum Eraser YouTube channel, which I've just stuck a link in the info box or the chat stream box. So go and subscribe and enjoy that particular numpty clip that's come out now. And as Quantum Eraser's plugging it for Monday, this will presumably come out just after that, unfortunately. Although we're live now, so you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Two of my favorite drinks, champagne and Ripple. I call it Champipple.
I'll move on. One last thing on my show. I just want to say again, thanks, Chocolate, for letting me use your tune. Did it with a little bit of Minecraft this time, mate. But that's my favourite bit of every show. And hence where What Is the World came from. So point of that was it. No credit to me, all to Chocolate there.
Nah, man, it's my pleasure, man. I'm honored that you use it. Appreciate that.
Oh, chart, right. So in the comments, someone was saying, who's done that? Somebody's going, I think that's ODD, you know. I think that's ODD. And then,
Sure.
No, it's Chocolate saying.
Chocolate blows them away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just like to say, Tenth, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. I love you, man.
Well, according to Sean Hawkins, you're my daddy.
I'm your daddy. How dare he? You're older than I am.
Well, you can always identify as that.
What, old? Older?
I've been looking up some good Clint Eastwood lines. A good man always knows his limitations.
I'm coming, Elizabeth.
That's not Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
I'm coming, Elizabeth Tease.
Oh, not second one, no. He said, if you want a guarantee, buy a toaster.
With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit the PayPal link, and all that good stuff. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!